Hey guys, welcome to 40 Miles. I'm Chris Ford, aka 40. If you're doing an event and taking some of your family and friends along with you, I've got them covered, so check this video out. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button down there for me. That way you'll stay up to date with all my latest running videos. We've got plenty of new stuff coming out on the channel. We've got all the running vlogs I'm doing this year. We've got more tips and hints, and we've got some other cool series starting pretty soon. So hit that subscribe button, you'll stay up to date. As I said in the opening, this video is all about the spectators, family and friends who come along to these events. I wanted to put something together in particular because we've obviously got the London Marathon coming up and some other big events during the year. But so what I did was I asked my brother to put a video together, and you may have seen him in some of the other vlogs we've been doing. He tends to come with me on the big events and some of the other stuff. So I thought it'd be cool if he put something together, give you some of his experiences. I mean, he's going to be vlogging the London Marathon just as an example, so people get, when he's done that, so they get to understand what that's all about for like next year. But I wanted him to give you some tips and some hints for your spectators, whether it be family or friends. So over to you, Bryce.
So this little piece is about how we as supporters can help our runners on race day events, be it 10Ks, be it halves, or be it full marathons. So some tips and advice that I've learned, and hopefully it will help you on those big event days. So main message, I think, underlying things is to have good communication, and that gives good coordination. So communicate with your runner in advance of the event as to what they want from you and where they want you. So understand what they're wearing, what colours, what bibs and t-shirts or whatever, so that you can pick them out in a crowd when they come round, and the reverse, so that they've got some idea in advance of maybe what you're wearing, brightly colours, umbrellas or coats, and that you are where you've agreed to be. So it's brilliant to come long distances in order to support your runners, but try to avoid doing it as a surprise unless you're coming to meet other family members or friends who have arranged. So that can be a great surprise, coming around the corner and seeing somebody they didn't expect to see there. But you've made it so that you are all in the place that's previously been agreed. So in order to do that, you've got to know the route. So making yourself aware, comfortable, happy with what the route map is. Most of the big events these days on the internet or in packs that come out, they have their course maps. This is the one for the London Marathon this year, usually with closer breakdowns of areas of interest. When Chris did the big half earlier on this year, so the one that they sent out, I took some Google Maps or Street Maps or any other online maps, and then made some additional scribbles on it so that we could pre-agree and understand whereabouts on the route, and really low-level detail that might not be on the wider course map, just to figure out where to be and agree that in advance. Got to be some flexibility, because on race day you might not be able to stand where you actually want to stand, but just giving them the rough idea of where you are, so that that's where they expect you to be. And it might be that they've pre-arranged that your runner wants you as family members in various places around the course, so that you can give them the energy and support at certain points where they know that they're lacking, like when they're about to hit the wall, or if there's a really steep hill that you're around that area to G them on, or again with London, running through the tunnel or something like that. So they're going to split you up and be around, but you've talked about it in advance and you've figured out from the maps where that's going to be. So again, coordination, communication, I think really is key. So building on the coordination to help you on the day, as we said, get yourself familiar with the route, understand your ways in and your ways out, public transport, what road closures there might be, or anything that's going to let you get to where you need to be for when they come past. For me, I tend to follow Chris to the start line to begin with, to give him a little bit of extra help, but other family members will have decided whereabouts on the course they want to be, and then maybe we leapfrog and then meet up elsewhere as well. So if you are moving around the course, make sure you understand what route closures there are, and make sure you give yourself enough time. Big half was really, really easy and good. DLR worked perfectly, but I got caught out on the Great North Run, where Chris actually beat me to the end because I got stuck on the metro due to just the numbers of people. So yeah, understanding moving around the course is key. Also, respect the course, okay? So there should be, most of these events are really well organised, and there's marshals around, and they will tell you whether it's okay to cross over the course or whether not to, or whether to stay behind barriers and things like that. Just use your common sense and respect the fact that it's a big event and there are other people doing stuff as well, not just your runner. So you've agreed where you're going to be on the course, and roughly, and you might have to adapt that, whether it's due to other events, certain circumstances as to whether there's too many people or the barriers aren't quite there or things like this, but you know roughly where you're going to be. As I said earlier, the coordination, that they know roughly what you're wearing or where you're going to be, but you can make life better for that. So I've seen people with brightly coloured umbrellas or waving flags. There's noisemakers. Often a lot of the charities or the events themselves hand those out, so it could be like whistles, or these clackers, these inflatable sort of clackers that make noises. It's really, really great. Lots of really good energy, really, for the runners themselves, clapping and banging and making the noise. There's often some bands who come out to support runners in general. But yeah, anything to sort of, you know, get their attention when they're coming around as well as you're cheering. The other one, of course, is signs. Lots of people make signs, and that's really, really good. You can get some really good messages sent out there, you know, whether the kids sort of make the signs up for your family, or whether it's you do, or what it is, but it's just something that's going to draw the eye to where you are and give them a really, really, you know, nice message and a little smile to their face as they're running past, as they've seen you, and give them that energy boost to keep doing what they're doing. So, yeah, that's really sort of it in terms of knowing where you are. But now we've got to move on to looking after yourself. So we said about understanding your way into and out of the route. So be aware that you probably are going to have to do some walking at some point. So make sure that you've got some comfy shoes on, so that when you're getting around, or if you do have to put a little bit of jog on to catch up to the point where you need to be, that you're okay. Whether this is mostly for the UK, but it applies to anywhere. Make sure you're wearing the right attire. Check the weather report, you know, beforehand and on the day, and make sure you're suitably attired. But be flexible. You know, British weather. Sometimes the umbrella's needed. If it's in the winter, woolly hats. If it's in the summer, you still want to be a little bit of shade. Maybe sunnies are needed, or of course, a bit of sun cream. Pack a bag of a couple of essentials, you know, pack a Mac, something like that to help if the wind comes in or the rain comes in that you're unexpected while you're waiting around. Some people carry fold-out chairs if they're going to be sort of sit down and they know they're going to wait for a bit, so that's always helpful, especially those, you know, if you've got little kids with buggies or people who get tired easily. Then, you know, try and make life easy for yourself. Pack yourself, you know, little go bag, so that you can put those bits in. Make sure water essential, bit of refreshment, because you might not be somewhere where there's shops with cafes or snack shops. The other one, of course, snacks for yourself or snacks for other supporters. It's always nice to sort of chat with somebody else, another spectator who's supporting their runner, and, you know, holding out a bag of chocolates or a bag of sweets is a nice way to introduce yourself and get talking. That's what's happened to me on the Great North Run, and yeah, you know, it passes the time. You know, you're talking away and it's just being friendly. And usually with these events, there's usually a good atmosphere, so it is really, really friendly. Other things to consider packing, whether for you or for your runner, tissues, wet wipes, of course, always helpful. Maybe a small little first aid kit of plasters or painkillers. I have the habit of bringing some cable ties with me. I had to do a bit of last minute fixing on some of Chris's kit for the big half, but a few little essentials and bits and pieces. Of course, another one these days with essentials is we're carrying our phones, we're carrying watches, we're carrying cameras. Maybe invest yourself in one of those little power packs to give yourself recharge while you're waiting. Just in case your battery dies right at the last minute when you're about to take the photos, they come around the corner. But yeah, just put together a few little bits and pieces that can help you on race day as you're walking around. If you're supporting your runner actually down at the starting line and the finish line, maybe you might want to take a slightly bigger bag in order to carry some of their bits as well if they don't want to use the organised places to put their bags. But that's up to you. I have ended up lugging lots of kit around, but you know, small bag is more than adequate for just general spectators. So, other things on the day itself. You're in position, you're waiting for your runner to come along. Some of the organised events end up having little apps that you can use to track your runners, which is really, really good when they work. The Great North Run, it did, it's brilliant. The Big Half didn't have it, but the London Marathon does. So it gives you advance notice that if they're behind, you know, they haven't come out of their start point when you expect it, you can keep an eye on where they are and make sure that you're in position for when they come past. Especially if you're moving on to places, understanding where they are on the course is essential. If the event doesn't have its own app, of course, many runners themselves use things like Strava to track, and they can give you access to that on your phones to see where they are. There are other apps that do that, like iPhone Find My Phone is another result that can be done. But worst case, if they forget to switch their app on, or there's no app, at least having had the communication with your runner beforehand of knowing what pace they're aiming for on the given day can give you a rough idea of when they're going to arrive. A lot of the maps give little track breakdowns of every mile, what time people will arrive at mile markers, depending on whether they're doing an 8 minute or an 8.5 minute or whatever pace. So on the Big Half, yeah, Chris didn't have his switched on, but I was bang where I needed to be in time because I knew what his pace was going to be, and he pretty much was. So yeah, for the more complicated moving around the courses, understanding their pace and where they are, there's apps, and worst case, if you run out of battery, then results just having the communication of understanding what their pace is, and you can still support them in the right place at the right time. Other elements, the finish line. Okay, so that's complicated. That can be chaos. So you really want to be there to see your runner across the line and share in their enthusiasm, the energy, and cheering them on to get them across the line. But of course, the finish line is where lots and lots of people are. So sometimes it's not possible. When they get the other side and they're sort of winding down and they're wanting to meet you, there are a few things that you can do. Normally the events ask you to sort of runners to go to where their surname is and meeting up with friends and family there. That can be busy. The other option is if your runner is running for a charity, of meeting them at the charity tent instead, and there might be fewer people there, so that you can get in and you can talk to them and wish them well and everything else and sort them out, and then take them away from it and celebrate with your friends and family accordingly. The other option is just to come up with some pre-agreed place so that you can avoid more of the crowds and go from there. Or even if one person goes in and gets them and then brings your runner out to where the rest of the family and the rest of the friends are in some pre-agreed location. But the bigger the events are, of course, the atmosphere is brilliant, but more people, more chaos. And of course, understanding what your exit strategy is going to be from then as well. So your runners are going to be buzzed, but they are still going to be tired. So they're just going to get away and try and settle down. So helping them with understanding what the public transport is and the easiest way to get out helps. So do your homework for that. It's coordination, and this underlying theme of the best that you're going to get out of the event is communicate and coordinate and just be prepared. But also for you as a supporter, have fun with it as well. So it is these big running events are really, really good, and the atmospheres are usually really, really good, and there's lots of supporting stuff on, live music and other activities, but you can enjoy it as well as your runner. That's it, I think. So I'll have house back to Chris, but thanks for listening. I'm going to be vlogging at the London Marathon as well, so see how I get on, and I'll see if I've got any other tips and advice for other things based off of my experience with the London Marathon.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. I do appreciate it. Thanks very much, Bryce, for giving us some tips and hints. If you are taking family and friends along, I think it's worth taking note of some of these. I know it's a slightly longer video, but I think it's worth just going through some of that stuff. If you've got any comments, stick them below. If you've got any questions, stick them below. Give this video obviously the like, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, as I said, stay up to date with all the latest running stuff and 40 runs. That's it from me. I'm going to put a video up here which I think is pretty cool, and I'll catch you guys later.